So we've got roommate problems. Her sister engaged to a guy who's been living with his best friend for years. Let's dive in.
When you need advice, come to Ben and Kelly. It's Group Therapy on 99.7 DJX.
So she writes, "Hey, Ben and Kelly, I need help getting through to my sister. Simply, my sister is engaged to a guy who's been living with his best friend since college, who happens to be a girl. Now, my sister claims that Amy, in quotes, is probably gay, has never been interested in romance.
Okay.
And she tells me that Amy is a wonderful cook. My sister never learned. And it makes sense for the living situation to stay the same since it saves them money and college loans are killing them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the entire situation is bizarre and set up for heartache. My sister jokes that between Amy and herself, they make the perfect wife. LOL, and her fiance agrees. So what can I tell her to get my sister to see that this may not end well?
Okay, I mean, is Amy gay? I mean,
well, we don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
She said probably. So
okay,
yeah.
All right, so
I don't think that there's really anything she can do here. She's just going to have to let that play out, because if her sister's fine with it and the fiance is fine, and it's been that way for years, so I'm assuming that her sister and Amy have a relationship if they've been, living together for a while now.
And obviously her sister's fine with that.
Right.
So
I feel
where's
like if her
the
sister
issue?
doesn't have a problem with it,
right.
She shouldn't.
Right, I know. So I don't know if this is... Okay, well...
I don't think she's going to get the answer from us that she was maybe thinking she needed.
I don't know. Zach texts in and says, tell her to mind her own business. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking too, but I don't know. All right, so since I only had roommates that were the same gender as me. Mm-hmm. I never had...
female roommate.
Yeah, a roommate that was a different gender, a female roommate. Right, exactly. So maybe if you had a roommate who was the opposite sex,
I did for a while.
You could chime in and either say, yeah, I'd worry, or nah, mind your own business. Because I think we need people who have been in that situation. So Kelly, I mean, obviously things were fine with you, right?
Exactly. It was the younger brother of a guy I went to school with, and he was he was a sophomore in college living with a bunch of senior girls, and he was on the opposite co-op schedule as one of my roommates. So whenever she was gone, he would live with us, and whenever he was gone, she was back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it kind of that was completely platonic. Like nobody was dating. There was never the possibility of anybody dating.
Is it because he just wasn't attractive to any of the people?
No. Okay. He was younger, sure. But yeah, no, I think it was just we were always just friend zone.
Yeah. Did he know that?
Of course he did.
Okay. All right.
Of course he did.
Because sometimes guys are dense and we don't necessarily pick up that right away.
No. And he's was such a cool guy. He ended up being homecoming king his senior year at Purdue.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I think we need people who've lived with the opposite sex to chime in on this. All right. Because right now it's just hey, if they're fine with it, let them do their thing,
Yeah. Jacqueline says I once lived with 3 guys. We were all friends, no relationship within us.
All right. So far, your argument to butt into your sister's life is not looking very good.
No, yeah, I feel like you just let it go.
All right. 502.
Just support your sister and have fun at the wedding.
571-9970. Group therapy. Our listener, her sister's fiance's roommate is Amy, in quotes, and our listener is worried that there will be problems because of the living arrangement.
But we don't think that, her sister's fiance is Amy's type.
Yeah, I mean, she suspects Amy's even gay, but that's not confirmed, so we don't even know. So that really doesn't even need to be a factor.
But she's just kind of like concerned that this is going to be an issue down the road. Rebecca says, I'm confused. The living situation will stay the same? When? Now until they marry? Or now and after they marry? I hope it's the first one, but regardless, you have to let people live their own lives. If your sister's okay with the situation, then let it be. She's only going to resent you if you keep saying something or try to step in.
Interesting. Riley texts in and said, my husband and I met when we both had a roommate of the opposite sex living with us. He was living with a straight female and I was living with a straight male. It can work.
Okay. Well, and I think, too, I'm sure the living situation is going to change once they get married. Like, Amy will not be living with them.
Do you think?
If she is, that would be weird. But for a newly married couple to have a roommate. But again, I feel like that's a battle for her sister to fight if it comes to that.
Listen, houses are expensive. So, there's all sorts of living arrangements in 2022 that maybe there weren't 20 years ago or whatever. But, she did mention, she says that Amy's a wonderful cook and that between the two of them, they make the perfect wife. So to me, that says that living arrangement ain't going to be changing even after marriage.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But again, I feel like it's their choice to make.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I
maybe your sister's all like, shoot, I don't have to cook. This is great.
But then I'm thinking, okay, if you're Amy, and I'm saying Amy, that's the name she gave us in quotes, right? And the roommate. If I'm Amy, am I just being, quote, used for my culinary skills and
or rent money?
And rent money, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And apparently she's fine with it.
I guess. Yeah. Can we talk to Amy about this? I would love to talk more about this to Amy rather than our listener.
You do need to call, because then we can just ask her, like, listen, any romantic prospects there? Have you ever looked at him in that way? And
she's going to say no.
Right.
She's not going to be like, yeah, I want to get with him.
Okay.
I mean, that's not something that she's going to say, at least out loud.
No, and I feel like if that were the case, she probably would have already put the moves on him.
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be more awkward if they had dated.
Right.
And they had broken up and then just remained friends.
Right.
I think
that has been a situation before, and that, I agree, would be a little bit more problematic. But again, if it's your sister's life and you have to kind of just be there for her if it falls apart, you can say, hey, I'm a little concerned. I feel like that could be a red flag, but you do what you want. And if you're fine with it, then I support you. And then just be there to pick up the pieces, because that's what sisters do if something happens.
I've said my piece. Now you do you.
Exactly.
Do you remember the group therapy that we had? It would have been probably several months ago, but our listener was worried for this exact reason that an ex wanted to come and live. What was like moving to town and wanted to live with them.
Oh, wasn't that Cody and his brother?
Oh, I don't remember their names.
His brother used to date his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what
and he wanted to come live with them for a while he looked for an apartment, and his suspicions were confirmed.
Were confirmed, yeah. So that, like, if they had dated in the past, then yeah, that'd be way more of a red flag.
But then again, that would be like, this would be similar if it were Cody's like brother or sister saying, hey, I'm worried about Cody's living situation.
Mm-hmm.
So if our listener's sister was concerned, but she's not,
all right,
then okay.
All right, listen, I think we're just going around and around and we're all saying the exact same thing.
Exactly. It's her life.
Leave it alone.
Yes.
It's just
not your place.
Yep. Leave it alone. And, let
them. You have the best of intentions. We love you for that.
Yep. Absolutely. And let them do their thing.
Yes.
All right. Keep us posted. And if anything scandalous and salacious happens, follow up with us. Otherwise, we're going to assume everything's all right. All right. That is group therapy.